Am I on? Hello. Let's see. How's everybody? Surprise. I did not podcast until today. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. Um, but also, I've had terrible, terrible allergies. And I feel confident today that I will not be sneezing during the podcast. And actually, I'm going to grab the box of tissues real quick. Just to have on hand anyway. Um, I was actually planning to podcast outside today, but then I went outside with the cat and it wasn't too bad outside, but after I came in, it was just, terrible. So anyway, hi, my name's Kelly, and this is the Sheep Dreamery podcast. I run sheepdreamery.com where I sell hand-dyed yarn. So if this is your first time viewing, welcome. I'll warn you in advance that sometimes I can be kind of weird and raunchy. So I don't always remember to put an explicit tag on stuff, but people have different levels of what they feel are not good words to use and what are good words to use. For example, my mother has metastatic breast cancer. It's inflammatory breast cancer. She is surviving for now. But when I was at her home a few weeks ago during Maryland Sheep and Wool, she had me picking out jewelry, and she also gave me anything that was related to cancer or breast cancer that had the word suck in it. So, everybody has a different opinion of what words are proper and what words are not. I think suck is a fine word to use. There are plenty worse words I could use, but I do say suck, and I'm not allowed to say suck in her house, even though I am over the age of 40. So, there's that. But I can be found pretty much everywhere online as Sheep Dreamery. That's Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Ravelry, Instagram, Plurk, YouTube, and even iTunes is Sheep Dreamery. And so I don't know how you found me today, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. This is episode 27, which means that I've been doing this for about 6 months. So pretty cool, pretty exciting. I forgot to kind of mention it the other week. I am recording today from beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio, and it is sunny and slightly breezy. And let's see, it says that it's 65 degrees, which, okay, I guess I can kind of agree with that. When I got up this morning, it was in the 50s. It's supposed to be down in the 40s tonight. And I'm speaking in terms of Fahrenheit, not Celsius. So I'm sorry, my international viewers. I have terrible math skills and do not know how to calculate that on the spot for you. So, in the US, it's Memorial Day weekend. I know that because it's Friday, maybe a lot of you are already on the road or going on trips or things like that. For me, I will be having a blast. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I'll be right back. Okay, actually, I didn't forget it at all. I just kind of lost my mind there for a minute. Okay, so for me this weekend, I will be working of sorts. I have a lot of yarn coming. And for me, it's a big purchase. Usually how I make purchases for dyeing yarn is I make back a certain number And then once I've made that certain number back, I buy more yarn and put more in the shop. Um, but what's going to happen this time is I've taken the advice of a lot of friends, and they are very wise, very thoughtful, and very experienced. And they know that I'm going to be in Rochester, Minnesota for the Zombie Knitpocalypse retreat, and that I will be a vendor there. And they advised me that I should dye as much yarn as possible. And for me, that's kind of scary, because it feels like gambling in a way. There are things that I dyed back in October that haven't sold yet. So I always feel like worried that I'm going to buy a lot of yarn, but then nobody's going to either like the yarn base or they're not going to like the colors. And then I'll just be stuck with a lot of yarn. And also, since I made the decision to go ahead and buy a lot of yarn yesterday, I am going to have to drive to Minnesota. There's just, I do not want to put the onus on our lovely retreat coordinators, Megan and Amy, to have to deal with anything that I would be sending. Because I already feel wacky, and I can't imagine for anybody who coordinates a retreat how much they've been dealing with in the first place. So I have the utmost respect for anybody who can organize it and get it done and rest at the end of the day. And back in the day, I actually was a person on a committee for, it was kind of like a retreat. It was held in Cincinnati, and it was for Jimmy Buffett fans. I know, some of you are like, Jimmy Buffett? Girl, what are you doing listening to him? Well, when you live in Florida until you're 7 years old in the 70s, you wind up listening to a lot of Jimmy Buffett music. So, and I like his old stuff better than most of his new stuff. I like his old country kind of stuff. Like West Nashville Grand Ballroom Gown is one of my most favorite songs ever. Ever. And I love to sing it at the top of my lungs. So anyway, we used to have a gathering, and it was much like people on Ravelry get together, but this was back in the day when there were list serves. This was pre-Yahoo groups and stuff like that. It was done through a university listserv. Somebody happened to run it, and so many of us joined it to talk about Jimmy Buffett and his music and things like that. And then somebody came up with the idea, hey, we should all get together sometime. I bet we'd have a lot of fun. So that's how it started. So like I may have mentioned in the past, I am good at going to retreats and meeting people for the first time and trying to make other people feel comfortable, because I know what it's like to kind of not know who's okay and who's not okay. I am a little crazy, but if you're feeling like I need to talk to somebody, you can always come talk to me. Yes. So don't be shy, say hi. Okay. So where was I going? Okay, I'm going to Rochester. And that means that I have to get my driver's license. um, when we moved into this house, now 4 years ago, I broke my foot the week that we moved into the house. And then I was in a cast for 4 months. And I was in a cast well past my birthday. My license expired, and I couldn't drive with my right foot anyway. And it just became something that was put off and put off and put off. And in Ohio, after your license has expired for a certain amount of time, you must retake the driving tests. So, I have to take a written exam and get a temp license, and then I have to take a driving exam. And then maybe I'll get my driver's license. I hope so. And I think I'm gonna have to rent a minivan or something to get everything there. The more I think about it, the more I kind of panic. I hope this is good enough. I hope this is great. Because it's my first time that I'm going to be selling my yarn to people. Now, in the past, I've worked retail and sold all kinds of things, but people were coming into a store and usually they knew what they wanted, especially because I worked for a certain, you can get these done in an hour place. People were coming in specifically for things. So you kind of knew where to steer them. With yarn, everybody's different. And so a lot of friends are telling me that it's how you display things that really helps the most. So now I'm just kind of freaked out about that. So my friends have given me a lot of good ideas besides just buying more yarn. And so after I dye the yarn, I'm going to start planning what my table will look like. And if you are coming to the retreat or coming to the marketplace, which will be on that Saturday, and if you're coming just for the afternoon portion of the marketplace, hold on, I need a drink. La 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 la. Oh, that's the stuff. That's good. So if from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock on that Saturday, the marketplace will be open to the general public. Now, I'm not quite sure if that means just people who wander in off the street, or if there's going to be some kind of publicity in advance talking about it. I have no idea. So that will also be interesting. Another interesting thing is I will be pretty much in the back of the room, and I'm not in the back corner, but I'm next to the back corner. I will be in between Elizabeth Quinton Designs, who I think sells bags, and then in the corner will be, oh dang, what's her name is Lucky Lindy. What is her, uh-oh. One moment, please. What is her store called? Because I sent her an email introducing myself to her today. Well, actually, I did it last night in the middle of the night, so you know that was a fun email that I wrote up. Let's see. Lucky Lindy. her store is fiber. Oh, her store is called The First Draft. So, I think that's a pretty cool name. So, she and I are going to have some conversations because her table is going to abut my table. We're actually going to have a table against the wall and then a table that comes out. And so we're going to see if maybe we can coordinate things because it's also her first time doing this with people. So there's a lot of excitement and, you know, I have a lot of nervous energy to begin with. So my nervous energy is way high right now. Just thinking about everything that I need to get done before I leave on June 19th. I think I'm going to drive up to Chicago and stay at my cousin's house. And then the next day, drive to Minnesota. I think it's only a 4 or 5 hour drive from there. But I also have to figure out how to get to Chicago without driving on whatever interstate it is that just, when you go from Gary and you go into, I know some of you know what I'm talking about, but you start to go into Illinois and you're just on this really tall bridge, like amazingly tall. That bridge kind of freaks me out. And it's weird because I have driven across plenty of bridges, but for some reason, Chicago traffic, and bridges kind of just makes me really nervous, so I'm gonna have to find an alternate route. Plus, I don't need to drive through Chicago because they live in the outer burbs. Outer burbs. So we'll see how that goes. And I should probably ask my cousin if she's gonna be home that weekend. I should write that down. Pardon me for a minute. Message be about ZK. So I will be there from Thursday to Sunday, and then I figure Sunday I will drive back to my cousin's, and then Monday I will drive back to Ohio. And then that's my baby boy's birthday. And my baby boy's gonna be 20. 20. So there's that. Oh, and there's a doggy. There's a doggy in my room. Hello. I'm sitting in the boys' room and she just pushed her way in. She had a vet appointment today and she has gained 7 pounds since October. So she is quite hefty. She weighs 95 pounds, about the same amount I weighed as a sophomore in high school. She has no idea that she's huge. She has no idea. So, it's always a good time. So, just by butting her head against the door, she was able to open it completely. Good for her. But it's terrible if my husband comes by because I have warned him that the audio really picks up certain sounds and then he needs to be aware and be careful of it. And he's making his best effort. So, one more thing, at the Stockinette Zombie Retreat, I will be teaching an outbreak session. It's actually 2 outbreak sessions at different times. Mine is called Baby, You're a Star. It's for anybody who is interested in wanting to start their own videocast, but they're really not sure of how to start or where to start and that kind of thing. It's free, of course. I mean, I'm no expert, but I can help people get going. Bring your iPad, bring your iPhone, bring your MacBook Air, if you have a camera with a, the little square that you stick into a thumb drive, a camera with memory that is removable. You can bring that as well, and we'll just get you started, get you hooked up. It'll only be an hour long. There will be one on Thursday, and then there will be one on Friday. I think the Thursday one is at 4 p.m. and the one on Friday is at 7 p.m. So you can always come sign up. You can always come hang out. And if you're a fellow podcaster and you feel like you can also help out with hints and things like that, come on over. Because I think there are 5 to 7 people signed up for one of the classes. So if there is somebody else that can kind of sit and help people out at the same time, that would be awesome. I think I said 25 people could show up. So, we'll see. But you know what? Everybody who's going to be there is crafty, is a knitter, and if you can figure out how to knit, you can figure out how to podcast. It's just that simple. So, what else is new? Let's see. I will show you my works in progress. Wait, no. I'm going to start with my finished object. This is some spun yarn. It is not perfect because it's one of the first ones I've ever done. This is Corridale from Heather at Highland Handmaids, and it's a double ply. I don't know how you talk about these things. Let's see. I had 48 times 3 is 48 times 3. That's like 144. Is that right? I had 48 complete rotations around my 3-foot nitty noddy. So 48 times 3. That's however many feet I got out of this. And I didn't do wraps or anything, but I guess it would be considered bulky. I don't know. I'm guessing. So I finished that. I do like the colors. And I have a lot more to learn. A lot more to learn. The other thing I finished knitting was another cruise ship cow. Some of you that attended Guts, Grits, and Pink Lipstick were able to receive that cow pattern. And here it is again. This is on my Pokemoke single ply. And I did not get 21 rows. I think I only got 18 or 19. But this is single ply, and I know a lot of people have a lot of feelings about single ply yarn, but my feeling is I love single ply yarn. So because if all else fails and I'm stuck with all this yarn, at least I'll be stuck with yarn bases that I like. So I'll get a little bit closer, So that's that. And it looks good on me. I should have put it on in the first place. Hide my old neck. Ugh. Okay, what else is finished? Nothing else is finished. Okay, works in progress. Let me get... Okay, I have things fighting with each other. Alright, so this is going to be for Amy Beth, the Fat Squirrels, KAL, for what you did. Her orange knit along. Oh, this one. It's the pattern from the old shell scarf. But basically, I'm just going to make a pot holder out of this. Well, not a pot holder, but in place of a trivet, because our dining room table is old, and it belonged to my husband's grandmother, and I do believe she waxed it every day. So now, no matter what we order, what we cook, whenever we place hot stuff on the table, automatically there are wax rings everywhere, and it drives me crazy. So I figured I'll knit something up that will at least kind of calm it down for a while. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so that is a work in progress. This is my other work in progress, and I think the dog just sneezed. Maisie! Is that you? No reply. This is, I've broken it up a bit. This is my fiber that I got from Hobbledehoy when I was at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And this is a merino and silk blend. And I love these colors. I do. And I've kind of split them up. And this is just 4 ounces that I'm doing right now. And here's a... Come on now. Great, the dog's got me coughing. Alright, so I'm in the dark parts. I had a lot of pink parts, now I'm in the dark parts. And this is my lovely, lovely spindle that I got from Spanish Peacock. My mom bought it for me. It is Bloodwood Curly Walnut, 16 grams. So, I'm having a lot of fun spinning on this. As you can see, compared to what I did just previously, I am making big strides, I think. So, I is proud. Alright, moving on. I did work a little bit on my Mary sock. This is in Wool Mice, and I still have like no idea which colorway this is, because it was just called We're Different, but that's the pattern. some cable-y woo going on there. And I like it. It's fun. It's a good time. But it's something that I have to do with the doors closed in the house because it takes a lot of concentration for me, even though I wrote the chart out for myself. Okay, so those are my works in progress, except I have one more thing to talk about that also kind of goes into enabling. So, as you may know, Amy of The Fat Squirrel Speaks is making bags and selling yarn, and I got this lovely bag from her. And can you see? It is the lovely Frida Kahlo holding the cutest monkey in the world on one side, and then on this side she's just hanging out with some parrots. She's a parrot head. So I love it. I love it. I love this bag. And what is hiding in this bag? Another work in progress. This is a shawl, and I don't want these needles to clinkety clink. Hold up. Okay. So you can kind of see what's going on there. Alright, so this is my Arundel base yarn, and it's 3 of them, but they coordinate. So I dyed these colors all at the same time. Well, when I dyed the gray, then I dyed the gray for this. When I dyed the blue, I dyed the blue for this. And I think it's going to be a great way to show off variegated yarn along with some solids without it becoming too taggy or clown barfish, if you know what I'm saying. That's one of my major goals, is to not make anything that's too clown barfy. But I do know that some people love that. But I have to say I'm not a fan. So this is what I will be working on for the majority of the weekend when I'm not dying. Because I would like to have this done by the time that I go to Zombie Knitpocalypse, so that I can give people an idea of what to do and what's going on. Okay, so this bag does hold 3 100-gram skeins and just an itty bit of the start of the shawl. I'm going to have to convert to a bigger bag pretty soon, much to my husband's dismay. So, okay, got that done. I am practicing spinning on my wheel. It is not going well. I'm still having a problem with the yarn breaking, and I don't know for sure what I'm doing wrong, and it's really hard to do a search on Ravelry sometimes to get the information that you're really looking for. So sometimes when I'm in a beginning spinning thread, then it's just all questions about spindles. I haven't found a single person yet that says, I'm trying to do this but my yarn breaks. Somebody else has to be having this problem and know what to do. But this is another Corriedale that I bought from Heather of Highland Handmaids, and this one is called A Talk Among Friends, and it's pink and greeny yellow and blue and a little bit of white. So once it's done, it's going to be very, very pretty. So I like that. Oh, and I forgot to show when Amy Beth sent along, yo, she sent button. Thank you, Amy Beth. Okay. And something else that I impulsively decided to do was sign up for Camp Loopy. I am in Mount Fiberlicious, I think it's called. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And the yarn that I have never used is Malabrigo sock. And as you can see, it is pretty much my color. Pink. So I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it yet. I think maybe a Henslow. I knit a Henslow for my daughter last year out of Mad Tosh in, it was a purple that started with an H. I forget the name. But it turned out really nice, and then I was like, I want one of my own. So I think I might just make one of my own. Because there's no nylon in this, right? It's just, yeah. There's no nylon in it. So I figure that's enough to make a Henslow. And those are quick to make. So I can do it in a month. I can do it in the 6 days when I get back from Zombie Knitpocalypse. I can chill out on this. I can take my time. I'm not going to stress. Right? Right. Okay. And some of you have already seen this, heard other people talk about it. I am also one of the people that pre-ordered Botanical Knits, so I also got the book arrived, and it came with this nice little pattern, the ivy trellis hat, and I dig it. It's pretty cool. And then she also gave us stickers. Let's say cast on now, share with a friend, favorite design, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. That's my old deaf cat. He doesn't know where I am yet. He's just kind of wandering and wondering when dinner might be, because it's 6 o'clock. My husband probably already went down and fed him, and he's just completely unaware that there's an open can for him downstairs. But this does have a lot of lovely patterns that will be great for summer knitting, because then you can wear it in the fall. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Oh, other things I signed up for. I signed up for the Into the World spin along with Diane of Knittables, because I bought an awful lot of fiber from Into the World when I was at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So I'm excited to see what it is. She's going to be mailing those out on Tuesday. So that will be fun to get and spin. And I'm sure I will have a free spindle to put it on. The other two things that I signed up for are Tour de Sock and Sock Sniper. They are both groups on Ravelry where you can compete for prizes. I'm not particularly competing. I just went ahead and paid to register so that I can get the patterns. Because it starts in June. I've got a lot on my plate. So there's no way that I could be a competitor and think I could actually win. And as a firstborn child, there's just no way that I would do that. Hello, Miss Maisie. Hi, pretty puppy. She's done. She likes to just come in and get acknowledged. Then she's out of here. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. I think that's everything. I showed my works in progress. I showed my finished item. I did enabling. I talked about zombie Knitpocalypse and the things that I had written down for me to talk about. And I think that's it. But how about I just sit here and drink my cup of tea, and you can tell me what's going on with yourself. Ooh, I've got something to say in a minute. Now, this is the explicit tag part of the show, so you may want to leave. But I have very strong opinions about Lance Armstrong. I've always thought he was a giant asshole. Mostly because if somebody is taking care of you while you have cancer, as soon as you get better, the first thing you do is not leave that person who cared for you while you had cancer. That was a serious dick move. So I've never really admired him or thought he was awesome or inspiring just because he didn't have balls and he could ride a bike. But then on one of the gossip sites today, there was a rumor. Well, it's not a rumor because the girl said that it happened to her. So, allegedly, he enjoys a good salad toss. And that just cracked me up because I think he's an asshole. An asshole who loves a giant salad toss. Isn't that terrible? Yes, it is. What have I watched on TV lately? Hannibal. Have y'all been watching that? I really enjoy it. There are so many fascinating things to do with a dead body, aren't there? And the other night, I watched Silence of the Lambs again. And except for the fonts, the movie holds up. I still liked it. I still loved it. First time I watched it, I was pregnant with my oldest son. So, long time ago. What else have we been watching? We're catching up on all of our Arrested Development. We got through all 3 seasons pretty quickly. And then we watched Bruno with Sacha Baron Cohen, which I highly enjoy, if that gives you any indication of how raunchy I am. I enjoyed it highly. Highly. What else have we been watching? Bates Motel. My husband hates it. I enjoy it. Vera Farmiga, who plays the mother in the show, is... I don't know how she's decided to play this character, but it almost seems like she's playing the character as if the character is on, like, an autistic spectrum somewhere. Like, things don't snap with her emotionally and connect, and it's really weird. And I guess, in a way, if she plays it like that, then that kind of explains why her son, Freddie, is the one who becomes the murderer in Psycho. But also, like, she's done weird stuff to her face. Um, like when older women, I mean, I'm an older woman, but when older celebrities get their, what's it jig? Plastic surgery, they get like that lion thing going, like, but then also like, then the mouth is like this, but you can still see like all the jaw here, and like you can barely see their eyes anymore because they want their cheeks to be so prominent. It's kind of disturbing. But then, yeah, see? Then they also make the big crazy eyebrows. Ooh. So she's done something weird like that to her face, and I was like, why? And then I had to like go look her up on Wikipedia, and she's younger than me. I was like, man. Sometimes I think people need to get out of Hollywood and accept their faces for what they are. Um, I'm not saying don't pluck your eyebrows or anything, but phew, yeah, if there was one thing I could change, it would be the bags under my eyes. They are hereditary. Um, my dad has them, his mother has them, her mother had them. It's just passed on down. And yes, there's a procedure called blasopharphy. Does that sound right? Blasto something. But I think basically you're awake while these needles are coming at your face to dig the fat things out of your eyes. And I don't think there is enough sedatives in the world to be able to hold me down for that kind of thing. I'm just gonna take my face as it comes. Because, whew. I also have a broken nose. I don't know if you can see it. On each side, I have a bump. I broke my nose when I was little. We lived in Florida, and my parents had a stand-up shower that was completely tiled, and I slipped in it and fell and broke my nose. Um, but I think, like, if I ever got plastic surgery, like, my whole face would be unrecognizable to me afterwards, and that would freak me out even more than just accepting that this is what happens. So, anyway, let me take another sip while I ponder what else to talk about. Okay. Oh, I watched a Simon Pegg movie. It was called like The Fantastical Fear of Yourself or Oneself or something like that. He used to be a children's book author, and now he was going to write a like serial murder thriller type book, and as he's doing it, he becomes more and more paranoid. Suddenly everybody starts to look like a serial killer, that kind of thing. So I think Simon Pegg's really funny in the first place. I enjoyed it highly. And I got that off of Video. And it's VDIO. And it's a complementary or sister company of Rdio. I say Rdio just because a lot of people don't get what I mean when I say radio without an A. So, RDIO is where I listen to music online. I do not do Pandora or Spotify. I think those are totally stupid. Also because I have bigger connections to people who started RDO and video, I guess you'll say. So I've been using Video to be able to watch some new movies. I watched Promised Land that had Frances McDormand and Matt Damon and John Krasinski, and it's a really interesting story. If you know anything about fracking and the controversy about that, it's related to that, and I really liked it. I thought it was pretty neat. Of course, you leave the movie feeling just as cynical as you did before if you know anything about fracking. But it was a good time, a good show. What else? I don't know. I guess that's it. So, if you are going on a vacation this weekend, or just having a 4-day weekend and going somewhere fun, I hope you have a great time and safe travels. And, ooh, feels like something bit my foot. And if you're staying home or having to put up with family you don't want to have to put up with, then I hope at least the food you eat is good and makes you happy. Or find a good room to hide in and knit. So, I'll talk to you next week. Bye!